Today, we'll read an article from CNN to help you improve all areas of your English. This article is about a new trend on TikTok called fiber maxing. Have you heard of it? If you can understand this article, your English is excellent. Welcome back to JForrest English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. Our headline is the fiber maxing trend good for you? So here we have, is the trend good for you? A trend is something that is popular right now. It could be with clothing, it could be with music, TV shows, and in this case, something related to your diet called fiber maxing. So this describes the trend. What type of trend? The trend is called fiber maxing. Now, without knowing anything about this trend, I can understand the overall idea simply because the word max is short for maximum amount. That's the first thing I think of. And of course, fiber is a nutrient. So I think getting the maximum amount of fiber. You'll see the short form a lot in written English and also used in spoken English. Even on official signs, they may say the max speed is 60 instead of the maximum speed is 60, just to keep the sign as short as possible. Or in an elevator or even a room, they might say the maximum capacity, the number of people is 12 people in an elevator, and then in a room, whatever that number might be. Now, in this case, they're using two X's, which is not the common spelling. The common spelling for the short form is just one X, max. Don't worry about taking these notes. I summarize everything in a free lesson PDF. You can find the link in the description. Now let's review this trend. Chia seeds, goji berries, strawberries, and raspberries. So first of all, these are all examples of fiber. Same with the image here. You have classic examples of fiber-rich foods. Now, these are specific examples. And did you notice my pronunciation here? Raspberries, raspberries. There's a silent letter. Can you hear it? Or can you not hear it because it's silent? Hopefully you didn't hear this because it's silent. So don't pronounce it. Just imagine it's not there. Raspberries, raspberries. And did you notice that S is voiced? So it actually sounds like a Z. This is the phonetic spelling. Raspberries, raspberries. One TikTok user is filling her breakfast bowl with fiber-rich foods and filming it, inspiring her audience to eat more of the nutrient she says has made her bloating disappear. So, of course, the nutrient is fiber. And notice here, fiber-rich is an adjective. It describes foods because you can have sugary foods, starchy foods, and in this case, fiber-rich foods. Foods that contain a high amount of fiber. So if it's rich in fiber, of course, it contains a high amount. Let's review bloating because this is an important part of understanding the trend. It's one of the benefits because she says fiber maxing has made her bloating disappear. Of course, disappear means it's gone. So it has made her bloating go away. So bloating is this feeling where your stomach feels swollen or full, but it's an uncomfortable feeling and is due to gas or digestion issues. So it's often caused by eating, and you often experience it shortly after you finish eating. After you finish a meal, you can say, I'm full. This is neutral. It just means that you are no longer hungry. You can even add on, I'm so full. To me, it still sounds neutral. If someone says, oh, I'm so full, well, then maybe it sounds negative. So it could change depending on how they say it. But if I just say, I'm so full, it doesn't necessarily sound negative. But if you say, I'm too full, by adding too, it means more than wanted or needed. I have too much work, more than wanted, needed. So because of that, it sounds negative. I'm too full. Now, if you say I'm bloated, no matter how you say it, I'm bloated or I'm bloated, it's negative. So bloated is the adjective form, to be bloated, and it is the same meaning, it's just different sentence structure. This is a noun, her bloating. So it's seeing it as a something. And then this functions as the adjective. It describes her. And notice you would just say, I'm bloated, not my stomach is bloated. You would just say, I'm bloated. Let's keep going. She's fiber maxing. So remember, this is the trend of simply eating a lot of fiber. And notice this hashtag because this is a social media trend. And they're using it as a verb. I know that because we have the verb to be and we have the ing here. So right now, to fiber max is being used as a verb. She's fiber maxing. The practice of eating meals that help people meet or exceed their daily fiber intake. Intake simply means you're eating, you're intaking sounds more medical or technical. You're eating the daily recommended amount of fiber. So you're either meeting it or you're exceeding, eating more than the daily recommended amount of fiber.
Are you enjoying this lesson? If you are, then I want to tell you about the Finally Fluent Academy. This is my premium training program where we study native English speakers from TV, movies, YouTube, and the news so you can improve your listening skills of fast English, expand your vocabulary with natural expressions, and learn advanced grammar easily. Plus, you'll have me as your personal coach. You can look in the description for the link to learn more, or you can go to my website and click on Finally Fluent Academy. Now let's continue with our lesson.
People are fiber maxing. So what form of speech is this word or trend? Same thing. It's the verb in the present continuous. We have this ing and we have the verb to be conjugated with the subject they because people is plural. They are. People are fiber maxing in the name of improving their gut health. So in the name of. This means for the purpose of. It's more formal. The everyday word is because, but the meaning is there, but grammatically you couldn't just say fiber maxing because improving. So you can't have because and then just the verb in the ing form. You would need to have a clause because they want to improve their gut health. So it's longer, but in the name of is your preposition. So you can have your verb in ing next. So that sometimes the choice of word also depends on the sentence structure you want to use because some word choices, the sentence structure requirements are more concise or shorter and the author may choose that word or phrase over another. Let's review that again. People are fiber maxing in the name of improving their gut health. Gut, I'm not a medical expert, but gut, that is the tube in your body that goes into the stomach. So the food digests in the gut and then goes into your stomach. So it's related to that feeling of bloating, or if you feel positive or negative, good or bad after you eat certain foods. So gut health, losing weight, so another benefit, and more. Videos with the tag. So remember, this is a social media trend. So that's why there are videos with the tag. The tag we saw up here was fiber maxing, of course. So that's the tag being hashtag fiber maxing. Videos with the tag have garnered tens of millions of views and likes. Maybe you have viewed and even liked one of these videos, or maybe you have created one of these videos yourself. The verb is to garner is conjugated in the present perfect, have garnered. Now, this simply means have received, or you can think of it as collected because you receive it over a period of time. These views didn't come at once. They came over a period of time, which is why people may use the word collect. Now, this is a very common word. You can say, for example, the movie garnered, this is in the simple past, 3 awards. It could be period or it could go on. The movie garners 3 awards. So received, collected. And it could be over a period of time. It doesn't mean 3 awards at once. Here are your 3 awards. It could be over a period of 3 years, for example. The movie garnered global praise. So this is more of a concept, praise being many people saying positive things, and global around the world. Criticism, many people saying negative things. Or maybe the movie garnered a review, a 5-star review, which is a very positive review. So if you want to help me garner praise, garner views, and garner likes and positive feedback, then put woohoo or put something positive in the comments. It truly supports my channel. It makes it possible for me to keep making these lessons for you, because more comments, YouTube says, hey, this video is really good. Let's show it to more people, and then the video will garner more views over time as well. So it truly does help if you like this video and put something positive like woohoo or a smiley face or anything positive in the comments below. Now let's keep going. They generally, what does they represent? I always look back, if I can't remember, I look back to what the last subject was, and it was videos. So the videos, they generally feature people. So if a video features someone, it means the main focus of the video is these people making and eating meals chock full of fiber-rich foods. We've already reviewed fiber-rich foods. The part of speech of this is an adjective. It describes the foods. And what about chock full? Chock full of fiber-rich foods. This means that the meals are completely full of fiber-rich foods. So here, chock full of. I'll include the of because that's required in the expression, the adjective, and then you would have a noun. So to be chock full of something. Now, maybe you're thinking, wow, this lesson is chock full of value. Value in the sense of improving your English fluency. So completely full of, start to finish. Or this lesson is chock full of useful vocabulary. So you can be very specific about one thing. Useful vocabulary. You could go on, you can name 2 or 3 things. Useful vocabulary, advanced grammar, natural pronunciation, etc., etc. So great adjective to have in your vocabulary. And if you agree that this lesson is chock full of value, chock full of useful vocabulary, among other things, then put that's right in the comments. Yes, you've already commented, but let's keep going. Help me garner more praise, more views on this video. And the only reason I'm asking is so it's possible for me to continue making these lessons for you. So put that's right in the comments if you agree. And I certainly hope you do. The dietary guidelines for Americans. So this is a something. I know that because for one, I'm familiar with it. And 2, because every word starts in a capital. So I know they're not just individual words. It's the title. So this is official guidelines published by an organization or the government. I can't remember which. The dietary guidelines for Americans recommend adults consume 22 to 34 grams of fiber daily. So this is the recommended intake. Remember, you can use the word intake. It sounds more technical. It sounds like something a doctor or formal guidelines might say. So this is the daily recommended intake of fiber, 22 to 34 grams. I have no idea how much fiber that is. What do I have to eat to get that fiber? I don't know. Do you know? More than 90% of women, so chances are I'm included in this, and 97% of men, so if you're a man, chances are you're included in this, in the United States, maybe that describes you, maybe it doesn't, don't meet these recommendations. Okay, so said another way, only 10% of women and 3% of men in the United States meet these recommendations, according to the guidelines. I wrote that alternative form here. It's always useful, especially as an advanced exercise, is to take something and see if you can communicate it in a different way, using different words, different vocabulary. So here, more than, that's why I added less than, because if I say only 10% of women, that sounds precise, but it's actually more than 90%. So it might be 91% or 92%, which means this number could actually be 9% or 8%. So only 10%, that's precise. Less than 10%, that could be 9, 8, 7, for example. Let's continue. Whether it's adding chia seeds to everything, so clearly this is a seed that is rich in fiber, to everything, sneaking veggies into your meals. Let's review this sneaking. So this is a verb to sneak. Now, this is something that parents generally do. They might sneak veggies. Veggies, of course, is the short form of the word vegetables. Notice that pronunciation, vegetables, vegetables. Vegetables, short form is veggies. If a parent sneaks zucchini into her cupcakes, which is a thing, zucchini cupcakes, now, and the child doesn't realize there's vegetables, only thinks there's chocolate, so it's hiding it because kids often don't want to eat veggies, but they're happy to eat chocolate. Many adults are like that too. So that's why you might need to sneak veggies. So you add them in a way that doesn't make it look obvious. So maybe if you sneak veggies into a sauce, you puree the veggies or you cut them really thin so you don't really see them or notice them as much. Let's review that again. Whether it's adding chia seeds to everything, sneaking veggies into your meals, or finding new ways to love whole grains. So again, chia seeds, veggies, whole grains, those are all examples of foods that are rich in fiber or fiber-rich foods. So I'm using it two ways. Foods that are rich in fiber or fiber-rich foods. So again, these two sentences communicate the exact same thing, it's just a different way of saying it. And some may prefer the second one because generally, the more concise you can be, the better your message will be, especially in writing in terms of journalism and articles. Let's continue. Fiber maxing. So now this is a something. So this is the subject. Fiber maxing might just be the trend we didn't know we needed. So instead of using this word, you could say eating more fiber. You could start with a gerund verb, but that functions as the subject. Let's continue. Adequate fiber intake. Okay, so again, you could say eating enough fiber because adequate means enough. It doesn't mean that you've exceeded it. It means you've met the recommended amount. So you could say eating enough fiber. Adequate fiber intake has been a recommendation that has not changed for years. So for years, maybe your grandmother or your great grandmother has said you should eat more fiber. But like anything else, and especially TikTok trends, fiber maxing can definitely have drawbacks. Drawbacks are negative consequences. So you have positives and negatives of anything, and drawbacks, that's another word for saying the negative. So it's like the pros and cons. Drawbacks, those are the cons, the negative consequences. Fiber maxing can definitely have drawbacks, and adding definitely makes it sound stronger. Like these drawbacks, these negative consequences are highly likely because they said definitely, which is a strong word choice. Can definitely have drawbacks if you make substantial changes too quickly. If you want to start fiber maxing, first know that going from 0 to 60 when you don't consume any fiber at all is probably not going to go well. Okay, this 0 to 60, this is a phrase we use to say going from 0 to 60, meaning the maximum, because often the speed limit is 60. And so 60 for a native North American, 60 represents maximum. So 0 to max. Remember, max speed is 60. Interestingly, that's exactly the speed I gave you in here, because the first number I think of is 60. So that's where that reference comes from, but it just represents anything. So let's say you're going to start studying English. Now, 0 is not studying at all. Now, maybe 60, remember, that has nothing to do with the number. It just represents the maximum. So for you, 60 might be studying 3 hours per day. So you might say, oh, Jennifer, I'm going to study 3 hours per day every single day. That's kind of going from 0 to 60. It's going from 0 to the maximum, and it's too much. So this sounds a little excessive. Like, it's not a good thing to go from 0 to 60, because often people cannot maintain that momentum when they are doing something at the maximum amount. And that's what they're saying here. Going from 0 to 60 when you don't consume any fiber at all, which represents the 0, is probably not going to go well. So to go well means that it has positive benefits or a positive outcome, but they're using it in the negative. That's because, so they're explaining why going from 0 to 60 isn't going to go well. That's because when fiber pulls water into the digestive tract, the tract expands, causing discomfort and bloating. So bloating, remember, that's feeling of swelling or fullness in your stomach. And discomfort, of course, it's not comfortable. In people who aren't accustomed to a normal fiber intake. Now notice here, we have people who aren't accustomed to, and then this is something, it's a noun, a normal fiber intake. So the sentence structure is our verb to be, it's conjugated in the negative with the subject they, and then we have accustomed. Notice the pronunciation, this is a soft D, accustomed, accustomed. Now, it's always in the ED form, and then we have to. This is part of the expression. Because of that, if you had a verb, it would be in the ing form. And this is a more formal way of saying used to. So people who aren't used to a normal fiber intake. Accustomed to sounds a little more formal. So you can say, I'm not accustomed to, I'm not used to. They mean the exact same thing, slightly more formal. This is every day. I'm not accustomed to eating. Yes, you have this verb in ing. Why? Because to is not part of the verb. It's not the infinitive. To is part of the expression, so it functions as a preposition. And the grammatical rule is after a preposition, your verb is in ing. This is the sentence structure: to be accustomed or used to, and then you have your gerund verb, your verb in ing, or you can have a noun. And in this case, a normal fiber intake, that's your noun. Start low and slow, low and slow. So low perhaps meaning a low daily fiber intake, because they were talking about the range of grams. I can't remember how many grams, 22 to 34 maybe grams of fiber. So low would be on the low end. So 20, 22, that's low on the recommended. And then slow. So don't take it all in on Monday. Maybe Monday do 5, then Tuesday 10, then Wednesday 15, etc., until you get to the minimum, and then work your way up to the maximum. So that would be low and slow, low and slow. Start low and slow by adding some berries. So here's how: by, and then your verb in ing. By adding some berries to your usual breakfast, because berries are high in fiber, or swapping one of your meals for one higher in fiber. So if you swap, it means, let's say you were going to eat a pork chop and it's not high in fiber. Well, then you would eat instead pasta that is high in fiber. To be honest, I don't know if that is accurate. I don't know if a pork chop is low and pasta is high, okay? Just to be honest. But let's say you take your pork chop and then you replace it with something else. So that is swapping, to replace something with something else. That is the end of the article. Now you know all about this fiber maxing trend. So what I'll do is I'll read the article from start to finish, and you can focus on my pronunciation. Is the fiber maxing trend good for you? Chia seeds, goji berries, strawberries, and raspberries. One TikTok user is filling her breakfast bowl with fiber-rich foods and filming it, inspiring her audience to eat more of the nutrient she says has made her bloating disappear. She's fiber maxing, the practice of eating meals that help people meet or exceed their daily fiber intake. People are fiber maxing in the name of improving their gut health, losing weight, and more. Videos with the tag have garnered tens of millions of views and likes. They generally feature people making and eating meals chock full of fiber-rich foods. They often contain the amount of fiber in their dish and the health benefits. The dietary guidelines for Americans recommend adults consume 22 to 34 grams of fiber daily. More than 90% of women and 97% of men in the United States don't meet these recommendations, according to the guidelines. Whether it's adding chia seeds to everything, sneaking veggies into your meals, or finding new ways to love whole grains, fiber maxing might just be the trend we didn't know we needed. Adequate fiber intake has been a recommendation that has not changed for years. But like anything else, and especially TikTok trends, fiber maxing can definitely have drawbacks if you make substantial changes too quickly. If you want to start fiber maxing, first know that going from 0 to 60 when you don't consume any fiber at all is probably not going to go well. That's because when fiber pulls water into the digestive tract, the tract expands, causing discomfort and bloating in people who aren't accustomed to a normal fiber intake. Start low and slow by adding some berries to your usual breakfast or swapping one of your favorite meals for one higher in fiber.
Do you want to keep learning English with the news? If you do, put let's go, put let's go in the comments. And of course, make sure you like this lesson, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. And you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can click here to download it or look for the link in the description. And here's another lesson I know you'll love. Watch it now.